want to know from you, which AFC quarterback, top quarterback, does the most with the least?
Molly, this question was so tough. I really struggle with this one. I want to go Josh Allen here, okay? Remember last year when we talked about the Buffalo Bills, a lot of people were talking about all the Buffalo Bills are kind of rebuilding offensively on the fly. Moving on from Stephon Diggs, they moved on for, Mac Hollins, they moved on from some people over there. And all Josh Allen did was become an even more efficient quarterback, and I think a lot of that had to do with the style of play that the Buffalo Bills, put out there as far as running the football more and all that stuff with James Cook. And so for me, I look at Josh Allen, I look at a guy that he can literally adapt this game to whatever's needed in order to win. If you want him to sling it all over the field, he can do that. If you want him to be in a more run-heavy offense with not a number one wide receiver, guess what? He can be efficient in doing that as well.
Well, of the AFC quarterbacks, I'm going to go with the guy who took his team to the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, of course, despite the fact that the left tackle situation was so dire, they had to have a left guard playing left tackle. A run game that was the least explosive in the entire NFL, dead last, 32nd in 10-yard-plus runs, and a group of receivers led by an inconsistent rookie and two guys in their 30s. Patrick Mahomes, to me, did the most with least by far. Davian, I'm surprised that when you were talking about Josh Allen, you didn't mention he has an elite offensive line. Does that not matter when we're talking about help? Does offensive line no longer...
Okay, this is no.
And I understand your point, but I'm still going to roll with Josh Allen for the answer to this question, Mina. I'm thinking about 216 total touchdowns, passing, rushing, receiving since 2020. That's 36 more than anyone else during this time period, and most in a 5-year span by any NFL player in history. This is who we're talking about when we're talking about Josh Allen here. And so when I think about Stephon Diggs being gone, along with a couple of other weapons, and then you still find yourself in the AFC Championship game, you only throw 6 interceptions last year. When turnovers were your Achilles heel coming into last season, and you rectify that as well. That wasn't just about his offensive line. That was about his decision making. That was about him being, not stop trying to engage in hero ball and modifying his game to a degree to be more efficient and to hurt his team less. I take those things into consideration, and I say to myself, excuse me, Josh Allen would be the answer to this question. I might have said Lamar Jackson if he didn't have.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Stephen A. said that he would maybe say Lamar Jackson if he didn't have Derrick Henry on his squad. So first off, if we're talking about over years, because now they're saying, he just went on a whole thing about Josh Allen, and he was using like years. So like that's a different conversation. If we're talking about over years, it's definitely Josh Allen. If we're talking about specifically last year, it's Joe Burrow. Josh Allen went the farthest, for sure. But first off, Patrick Mahomes had an elite defense. He led an offense that was average in the NFL, like literally average. So no, I and the whole thing with O-line, like Joe Burrow had the worst O-line in the NFL. And now you only want to use explosive run game as a frame of reference. Like that's Joe Burrow consistently has had a bottom of the NFL run game. Like it's just kind of bonkers. I mean, the Bengals rushed for 1,500 yards. Kansas City Chiefs rushed for 1,790. And that was without playing their final game where they obviously rested everyone. It's not hard to imagine that they would have definitely reached at least 1,800, that's for sure, if not 1,900. The Bengals were able to get 11 touchdowns rushing. The Chiefs 15 touchdowns rushing. I mean, Joe Burrow had the worst O-line in the NFL, the worst defense. And you're saying, oh, but he had Jamar Chase. Yes, he had Jamar Chase. That's it. T. Higgins missed 5 games. 5 games. That matters. That matters. And a defense that was giving up 30 points like it was nothing. Like, it was nothing. And he had to go up against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson twice. To me, when we look at this, Josh Allen, what he brings to the table offensively, he takes up a bigger bulk of the offense, a greater percentage of the offense in terms of how much he's asked to throw, how much he's asked to run, scramble, off script, the type of runs that he's asked to do, the type of scrambles that he's asked to do, the design runs, all that type of stuff. The total touchdowns that he has, compared that to the level of pieces that he has around him, for sure. And in years past, I'd say that Josh Allen has done the most with the least. Again, especially when we're factoring in coaching as well. Because the biggest gift that Patrick Mahomes has is he also has Andy Reid and Spec. So he has an elite defense and the greatest coach of all time, an elite offensive mind. Like, that helps tremendously. Yes, he was hurt with with the O-line, and yes, he was hurt with some receivers and whatnot. But like, let's be serious here. If he had Joe Burrow's defense, he's not even making the playoffs. He's really not. Just a fact. Whereas if you give Joe Burrow just an average defense, they win the division. They probably get to the AFC Championship game. There was a real chance that they could have done that if they could just have snuck into the playoffs. So it's like we always want to take away everything from Joe Burrow. And we want to act like, oh, he's got these weapons. And it's like, and he has nothing else. And yet he played elite. I mean, you want to talk about O-lines. Joe Burrow was pressured 248 times. Patrick Mahomes only 212. So we can stop with that. I mean, it's just we love to just keep making this to the extreme here. You also want to talk about drops. When everyone was freaking out about the Kansas City drops in 23, oh, receivers keep dropping the ball. They keep dropping the ball. They had 29 drops. Joe Burrow last year had 27 drops. This year, Patrick Mahomes' offense only had 18 drops. And they had a drop percentage of 4.4. Joe Burrow, 5.5. So they literally dropped the ball at a higher rate. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals, their pass block win rate was ranked last, 32nd. 50%. 50% of the time, his O-line could not hold for over 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds or less, 50% of the time, they couldn't even reach 2.5 seconds. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs were ranked 8th in the NFL, 67%. 50% of the time, Joe Burrow, when he dropped back to pass the ball, he was essentially getting pressure in his face. So what we saw Patrick Mahomes deal with in the Super Bowl is what Joe Burrow had to deal with his entire season. That's the difference. And what did he do when he faced that pressure? He threw for 1,400 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt, and 15 touchdowns. That's what Joe Burrow did. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 995 yards. I mean, what Joe Burrow did this year is insane. Again, yeah, he had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. T. Higgins, again, missed 5 games. Let's not pretend like that's nothing. That's a third of the season. And he threw for 4,918 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, and a 70% completion percentage. It's absolutely insane, and a 108.5 passer rating. I mean, just insane what they put on this man's shoulders with a terrible O-line. What Joe Burrow did at the quarterback position was one of the best seasons we've ever seen. And if he just got the littlest bit of help from an offensive line, an increase in yards after catch, like I did the math before that I showed you guys before, that if he got the similar yards after catch that Patrick Mahomes got in 2018, he would have set the record for most passing yards in NFL history. I mean, it's just pretty wild. They asked him to drop back 725 times. Nearly 70 more than that of Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, the only answer is that man right there. But nice try trying to cook the books, Mina. Nice try trying to cook those books. It's clearly Joe Burrow. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals? You know, do you think he did the most with the least in the AFC? Or do you think it was Patrick Mahomes? Do you think it was Josh Allen? Do you think it was Lamar Jackson? I mean, there's no way it was Lamar Jackson. That team was flushed with Pro Bowlers and All Pros. And Derrick Henry, not to mention, and Zay Flowers, etc., etc. But, you know, you give your answer. I'm sure we'll get people who will claim that it's Lamar Jackson. But let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.